I'm so glad you get it right. A lot of folks don't get it right. It is the strictest abortion ban in the country. And the reality is, people don't understand that. There are no exceptions, and you got that right, not for life of the mother. There's what they call an affirmative defense. It is absolutely not an exception. Doctors have to defend, hire a lawyer, lose their license, go to court. And the example that I used was me. I was in college, got married young, and knew that I had Marfan syndrome, and that there was an aneurysm. And my doctor said that, carrying a pregnancy would cause an increase in that aneurysm at a greater rate. And there was no likelihood that I would be able to carry that baby to term, and it would kill myself and the fetus. And so because we had the Roe standard at that time, I was able to make a very tough decision. Mm-hmm. But, the decision was to save my life. And these folks out here are saying they're pro-life, but they're not even giving a second thought to a women's life or a young girl's life who's a victim of a rape or incest.
No, I know you have tried legislatively to push back on this in a number of different ways. Specifically, tell us about the amendments to the abortion ban you hope to get passed.
Yes, absolutely. We had a couple of bills. Our caucus was all signed on to one single bill that was full abortion care and abortion rights for women. I had another bill myself that went back to the Roe standard and that one. So I ran both of those bills. And I also ran, I don't believe that an exception gives a woman her equality back, but I do know that an exception for rape and incest would have helped a whole lot of people and saved a lot of lives. Because the reality is, we did a poll in Tennessee, and 80% of the people across the state, rural, suburban, and urban, 80% believe that there should be some level of abortion, whether it's exceptions, whether it's one trimester, 2 trimesters, but 80% of Tennesseans, the supermajority of Tennesseans, believe we should have some abortion care in place. And our supermajority refuses to listen to the people, and they are listening to Right to Life lobbyists who are misleading the entire state.
Well, I was about to ask you that you have Republican colleagues who oppose these amendments, which even if these amendments go into place, right, even if you have a carve out and exception in cases of rape and incest, while it would no longer be the single most extreme, it would still put the Tennessee ban among the most extreme bans in this country. How do they justify that to their constituents?
It's really interesting because the day later, one of the people in the committee came up to me and held my hand and said, "I just wanted to hug you. That was a powerful story. I'm so sorry that happened." But I'm like, well, then how can you not vote for any of these bills? It's just remarkable to me. But literally in committee, the Right to Life lobbyist / lawyer threatened the members on the health committee that they would not be supported by Right to Life if they passed the Republicans' exception bill for life of the mother. And so that first exception bill that was really, it was a true exception for life of the mother, they have now amended down to it's virtually nothing. It's not going to keep doctors out of prison, and it's certainly not going to keep women and young girls from dying.